This episode is brought to you by the shows of the You Run Podcast Network, all available at yourunpodcast.com. Whether it's true crime or film reviews, even TV series deep dives, the You Run Podcast Network has you covered. So go and check out yourunpodcast.com today. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. If there's ever a zombie apocalypse, I'm going to the deep south of the United States because I'm 100% safe there.
And why is that?
Toothless zombies can't bite you. No, that was mean. I apologise to all of our American listeners. You've just celebrated the 4th of July, your independence from us here in the UK, and from us to you, we salute you.
The You Run Podcast.
The You Run Podcast.
You want to die tonight?
Scott, I think you know who the fuck this is that's talking.
Cancel Marc. I was terribly offended.
Because after all, this is not our show. This is your show.
Hello and welcome to the You Run Podcast horror movie review, now exclusively listened to by people not in the United States of America.
So it's going to be one of them episodes tonight, is it?
I'm in a strange mood. I'm not going to lie. It's
excellent. I love it when you get weird.
Yeah, I'm in a really weird place today. My name is Scott.
My name is Mark.
And we are the original and the best horror movie review show, run and controlled by the listeners. We're super interactive and there's lots of fun. It unfolds. You'll work it out as we go along. You can get in touch with the show by sending us an email, yourunpodcast@gmail.com, or by recording us a voicemail. And we have a few, but we'll get to there in a second. If you like the show, leave us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify or anywhere else you can. And if you're watching on Rumble, follow us. Really, really, really easy. Do that as well. Also, our website, yourunpodcast.com. On there is lots and lots of merchandise like this. Please, please, please go buy some merchandise because there are lots of things coming up that I want to do with the show and I'm not paying for them myself. So you all love the show. You can put your hands in your pockets. While you're there, also check out all of the members of the You Run Podcast Network. Anyway, like I was saying, we got messages and last week I said we weren't going to address them because a lot of the messages come from Heather and I wasn't doing that face to face.
I think you wound her up enough last week.
I think I did. Well, let's start with Heather's first message.
I just want to say something, Scott. I'm finishing up the Saw episode, and the fact that you do not know Candyman's name, Daniel Robitaille, disgusts me. And I almost got into a wreck going to the drive-thru because I was like, "Fucking who is Arthur?" Like. That's not right. That's not even like remotely close. Anyways, Scott, I don't know if you are trying to be fake as fuck in the horror community, but I'm really gonna have to, I don't know, like school you. Come on, Daniel Robitaille. Okay, anyways, guys, the episode was fun. And Mark, also, I've seen other movies that y'all done. I saw, but, like, I can't help it that I got a toddler and, like, I ain't got time for shit. Okay? All right,
bye. Some serious accusations thrown your way there.
There was some serious accusations. I don't know who that character is because the first Candyman's good. The remake was okay. Hot take, the rest of that franchise is utter garbage.
Oh, 100%. I agree with you on that. But part 2 is really, really good. But it is garbage. It's good garbage, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that you look at and go, oh my God, okay, I'm enjoying this. It's stupid.
Exactly that. I enjoy that one a lot. I probably watched that a lot more than I watched the first one, to be honest with you, because it's more digestible in a way. It's just a fun horror slasher.
And Candyman 3, Farewell to the Flesh.
Wow.
The less said about that, the better.
Yes, definitely.
Heather wasn't done anyway, because we've had a couple of weeks where Heather's called in and we've just not played them. So here was Heather's next message.
I forgot that Mark is on holiday, but I was just going to say this little tattoo bit that you guys are talking about. 10 out of 10, I think Mark might be being a big P word because my whole stomach's done. And I mean very low down on my stomach. My elbow's done. Elbows are one of the most sensitive spots on your body. So come on, Mark. You got a chest plate. Cool. You so cool. But like, come on. It's not that bad. I fall asleep when I get tattooed. So am I the nutty one? I don't know. Okay, bye. I forgot.
Did Heather just confess to having a tramp stamp?
She confessed to having a tattoo on her stomach very low down.
Right. Okay. I see where she's going with that.
She also called you a pussy.
Yeah, I'm kind of used to that from Heather, though. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
It's not the first, and I'm sure it won't be the last.
But Heather wasn't done. I think Heather just loves being on the show. Like, she loved it last week. She loves calling in. And here's what Heather had to say with this call.
Happy Monday, guys. So I'm listening to Cherry Falls because I'm going to listen, even though I've never watched the movie. Have heard of it. Sounds pretty stupid. I don't know if I'll ever watch it. Anyways, I just wanted to say, Mark, Brittany Murphy didn't die of an overdose. It was pneumonia-related death, I believe. And then they tried to say that it was like mold in her home because her husband literally died a week later. So I don't think it was of an overdose. But either way, still sucks because I loved Brittany Murphy in lots of movies. So anyways, okay, got to finish listening.
Yeah, she died of the crack. She loved the crack. It was in the post-mortem. She was cracked up. And then later on, he was also cracked up.
The mold just helped.
The mold just helped. Yeah, I mean, that's like dying in a crack den and saying you died of bacterial infection. It's like, of course you're going to get bacterial infection. You're in a crack den.
I'm anticipating calls from Heather next week or the week after, following our responses. Hence why we didn't do it while she was here, because that would have been the entire episode. We did get another call. This call comes in from Angela, who was one of Lady Crisis's friends, who she called out last week, and we needed help with the Twilight, understanding the underwater sequence. And Angela called in and explained it, which is cool. So here's what Angela had to say.
Hey, it's Angela, Mary's friend. I'm calling to let y'all know the diving scene. Victoria was absolutely in the water. It wasn't in Bella's head. She was running from the werewolves. She dives into the water to escape them because they can't follow her scent. So she was there. And the whole floating scene with Edward and her, it was Bella giving up so she could go be with Edward in death.
There we go.
Yeah, that movie's shit. I don't care. But thanks for calling in, though.
Yeah, a huge thank you to everyone who calls in. I know we get lots of calls from Heather. We get lots of calls from other people as well. And thank you, because it does make you're all awesome.
Awesome! That is very true. Are you done with calls in for this week?
I want to do one more thing, because I know you're itching to do something. You've told me you have something, but I want to do one more thing before we do.
Okay.
So I want to give a special shout out to a couple of listeners. One in mainly. So this listener's listened pretty much since the very beginning, every single episode, shares every single week, has been a guest on the show, is a friend of mine and yours, and that's Skelly. So for those of you who don't know, Skelly had a couple of rough years leading into last year. And she met someone and they become a couple. And today they will be listening together to celebrate their anniversary. And you all know what happens when a couple listen to a podcast together.
If they wasn't before, they will do now with that intro music.
Skelly and Brad, you are both wonderful. You deserve each other. I'm so happy you've both found happiness, and congratulations on your anniversary. And thank you so much for all the support you've given us since this show began. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Congratulations, guys. I hope she has watched 28 Days Later, because Skelly is a true fan, where if she hasn't seen the movie, she won't listen to the episode until she has watched it. So fingers crossed she's watched 28 Days Later, otherwise that's a pointless shout out for you.
Yeah. And just so they can get back to it now, we'll leave them alone. Right, okay, all over to you. What do you want to do?
Well, you have just turned 61, and obviously everybody wanted to congratulate you on that and send in some very, very nice messages. So I have a few messages from some of our listeners who wanted to wish you a very happy 61st birthday.
Oh,
you want me to fire away straight away?
For the record, I'm not 61. I am 40 something.
40 what? Higher or lower?
Higher or lower than 40? Higher.
I'll dive straight in. I've got a lot to get through, so I'm just going to blast them out, and you can say your bit afterwards. All right?
Okay.
Here's your first message.
Hey Scott, it's Imitation Dave here. I just wanted to wish you a happy birthday, all the best. Hopefully the best year yet, and many more to come. And before I forget, Hawk do it now. Hawk
That's amazing.
Dave never disappoints, does he?
Never, ever. You need to send me that, because we need a Dave hook to a soundbite just lurking.
Of course. Here's your second message.
Happy birthday. Love you, Scott. This is Mary, aka Lady Crisis. I forgot that our birthdays were really close together. Yours is July 3rd and mine is July 7th, but I think we're like a year apart. I was 1983. So we're both old as fuck together, but hope you have a fantastic birthday. I hope you take a little break from social media to enjoy your day/birthday weekend. I am heading out to New York with my family tomorrow to visit our family in New York City, and we will be celebrating my birthday there. So I will be having a drink for you. Love you, Scott. Have an awesome day.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, mine and Mary's birthdays are super, super, super close together.
Yes, and of course it wouldn't be right if... Sorry, mate, go on.
She is younger than me, though. I am the older of the old people.
Well, here's another one who's around your age group who calls in every week.
Go, Scott. It's your birthday. You're going to party like it's your birthday. But do you sip Bacardi like it's your birthday? Highly doubt it. You don't look like a Bacardi person. Anyways, I wanted to wish you a happy birthday. I hope that today is wonderful for you. And please make sure to take some time out and celebrate. You get another trip around the sun. And I also wanted to let you know that you are a terrific friend. So happy that I know you, that I get to podcast with you. You're a wonderful co-host. And yeah, just that's all I have to say. Much love to you. And I hope that you get a big tour for your birthday. Ciao.
I find it hilarious that is now what you are becoming known for.
Hawk tour guy. Thank you,
Let's keep them going.
Hi, Scott. A little birdie called Mark tells me that it's your birthday. So I just wanted to wish you a very happy birthday. Hope you've had a great day and been completely spoiled. You deserve it. All the best.
Of course, that's Beck from This Girl Loves Horror. Just keep going when my Instagram loads up these voice notes.
Scott, this is John from the Dewey Pod Monster podcast, and I was just informed that it is currently your birthday, so I have to say to you, happy fucking birthday, my friend. Thank you for everything that you do for the You Run podcast community and the horror community as a whole. You're an amazing human being, and can only wish for all the best for you, your family, and many, many more years of podcast domination. Have yourself a great afternoon, a great evening, and whenever I get the chance, I'm buying you several beers because it just feels well overdue at this point.
That is a Dewey podcast. I can't remember his name. I'm terrible at doing that.
John. You got John and Sean.
Of course. John, yeah. Another one for you.
Happy birthday, Scott. If you want your present, it's in my back porch.
You guess who that is?
No, I can't.
That is Gareth, and I thought that was maybe an in-joke that you would have got.
No, is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It is, yeah.
Gareth does that really well.
He does. We have 2 more to get through. This is your penultimate one.
Happy birthday, Scott. I kind of went back and forth on a second on whether I wanted to be mean or not, but the truth is, on your birthday, I'm going to be nice. And I just want you to know that I really am grateful for an opportunity to work with you. I have a lot of fun. We do content together. And you've been such a huge support of what I do at Voices. And you're just a big support in the community in general, from building the network to sharing other people's stuff, to having other people on, to going into other people's podcasts or shows. And I love how honest and brutally obnoxious you are with your honesty sometimes, but I just, you bring a lot of value in what you do. And I think it's important on your birthday and every day for you to know that. And yeah, thanks for being involved with things and letting me be involved. And I hope that your birthday and every day is as cool and insane as you are. All the love.
Beautiful message from Voices of the Mausoleum there. That was a very nice message. And of course, we have to end on a high. It wouldn't be right if we didn't get one from this guy. So here you go. Here's your final birthday message.
It's the most American day of the year. I flew in on an eagle draped in the American flag. I heard it was one of you teen crumpet fellas' birthday. So I guess it's time I sang you a song. Oh, happy birthday, oh, happy birthday. Darkness, misery, and despair. People died everywhere. Oh, happy birthday. Tommy Keith would have loved that. Anyway, Scotcher, I hope that you have a wonderful birthday and you kiss America's ass like y'all been doing for all these decades. Woo, doggy. I can't read or write.
And of course, in case you didn't get it, that was Chunky Larry. And of all the wildest things that Chunky Larry has done over the years, that has to be the top of the list.
That's honestly, I'm a little bit stunned. I like kind of just got on with my day on my birthday. I've reached an age now where I just let it pass. Like it was a Wednesday. If it wasn't,
Yeah.
It was just a Wednesday. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm a little bit taken back by that. Thank you very much, everyone who sent in birthday messages. That's lovely. Oh.
Everybody was very keen to get involved. Obviously, you're very appreciated and loved within the community, and I hope you know that. We all do appreciate your service and what you do. You're a great guy.
Oh.
So happy birthday from me to you.
Well, thank you very much. Well, this episode is going to be epic.
Love it.
That clip was quite long. Right, today...
No, that wasn't long enough.
Today we're looking at Cillian Murphy's Cock. We're also discussing one of the most praised horror movies that's not made by George A. Romero. Its dark tone, fast zombies, stunning cinematography are undoubtedly what make this a masterpiece. But my opinions on horror movies in the zombie genre are well documented. So I've got lots of things to say that may lead Mark a little bit raging, possibly for 28 days later.
Round one, fight.
There is no trailer this week. I'm not playing a trailer purely for the fact that the trailer is just music. There's nothing in the trailer that translates to audio. And anyone who's watching on Rumble, if you want to watch it, Google 28 days later trailer. You'll find it.
I purposefully haven't asked you this week what your opinions are on this movie, just because I know you are very, very against the zombie movie tropes and all the rest of it that comes along. So I'm kind of like, I'm hoping this is the one that you cling on to, with it being British as well, and it being a sort of revitalization in the genre. I'm kind of hoping this is where your turning point was. I know you like the sequel, but we haven't really spoken about this one that much, so it's going to be interesting for me to find out where you're at with this.
Yeah, and I'm just going to let them unfold as we go through. I'm not going to hit you with them now. I'll just let them unfold, and you can deal with them as my opinions arise. Listeners score the movies here. They've scored this a 4.5 out of 5, one of the highest scores we've ever had from the listeners. Letterboxd coming at a 3.8 out of 5. Gladys, where do you sit?
It's a 4 out of 5. Good zombie movie. And as Heather would say, Cillian Murphy can get it.
Creepy, man. Creepy that she knows shit like that.
Yeah, she does. I've spent a lot of time talking to Gladys now. She knows all about everything. Like Gladys is very intuitive when I talk to her now, to the point I can hold a conversation with her.
That's weird, man. That's weird. You're gonna end up like leaving Lisa for Gladys and sailing off on an island together.
Gladys is nice. She's really cool. I like Gladys. Anyway,
Of course she is. You've trained her to be that way.
Exactly. Maybe I could get like AI technology put into Lisa, and I could train Lisa to give me all the answers I want, like Gladys does.
Yeah, that sounds like a horror movie in itself. You know that wouldn't end well for you.
This is true, but it would make a great horror movie. Like they made it. It's called Megan. They've already made it. This is a spoiler-heavy show. I'm not going to play the spoiler warning until we have a new one. A new one is inbound very, very shortly. I'm going to preface this review by saying there are large sections of this movie where not a lot is going on. I really struggled to take any kind of bullet point notes while watching this. Like it's such a disjointed movie. It flows very well, but there's big sections where like they're walking, they're sat, they're walking, and it's like I've really struggled. So 99% of today is going to be purely from my memory. Also, this is not streaming anywhere in the UK, in the US. You cannot get a copy of this for love nor money. Thankfully, I have.
I think I can match you on
that. So Mark is holding up a VHS. I have a DVD. I have all the bonus features on here as well, which I also watched when I watched this.
Contains
episode.
Pure Rage, the making of 28 Days Later. VHS has bonus features too.
Yeah, but you can't skip to bonus features. You need to watch the movie, then watch the bonus features, and watch the ads and the trailers too.
To be honest with you, I haven't watched that actually since purchasing it. I don't know. If I remember rightly, on VHS, the bonus features used to come first before the movie. I may be wrong on that.
This movie kicks off with horrible images of war and explosions and people being tortured. And is it a monkey or is it an ape? Because I don't want to get this wrong, because people get upset when you call them the wrong thing.
It's a chimpanzee, is it not? Is that
It's an ape?
Yeah, it's a chimpanzee.
Yeah,
is that one?
Yeah, it's an ape. The ape is watching these horrible images, and Greenpeace arrive, or an equivalent of Greenpeace, to break out said chimp. I really like the opening of this because these Greenpeace activists act with the same level of intelligence that Just Stop Oil do. Like you have animals caged that are being tested and experimented on with shit you don't understand, yet your goal is to let them out. Like there's no forethought there at all. The monkey is released. No, the ape. Oh, whatever. The chimp thing is let go. The girl is killed, and I love the kill of the girl. The one I will say is if you actually got attacked by a chimp, it would have been far more brutal than what actually happened.
Of course, they can like sever limbs and break bones with very, very limited ease. Like there would be very little left of that girl after the attack.
Yeah, he'd have ripped her arms off and beaten her to death with him. It would have been like a Mortal Kombat fatality.
Yeah.
But again, it's a really good opening. I've got questions. Like they say they're testing out rage, but at no point do they say it's a virus. And by looking at the images, they are just trying to make the monkey mad. So I have issues around exactly what this is.
I'm sure the scientist says he's infected, and if you let
With
it loose, it
rage.
will spread. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, he says it's with rage. I know rage is classed as an emotion, but that might just be the name for the infection that they're referring to. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah,
still think it's a genuine infection. I don't think it's just a case of it's an angry monkey.
grumpy monkey.
Or grumpy ape, whatever you want to call
it. Miserable monkey infects planet with depression. We then get the big boom on the screen of 28 days later. We're greeted by Cillian Murphy's cock.
I'd forgotten how much he has his knob out in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, he's no Kid Cudi, but he's
No.
he's blessed. He has a fair size appendage. I like this, that he wakes up and that he's in the hospital, or The Walking Dead ripped it off and stole it.
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you have that? In fact, what came first? I know obviously the TV show of The Walking Dead came after 28 Days Later, but the comic books
was after.
Was after, right? Because this whole story is Rick Grimes.
Yeah, it really, really is. I have serious issues around the grasp on reality here. So 28 days have passed and Cillian Murphy's been in hospital. He's hooked up to IV bags. IV bags need to be changed. He would have died of dehydration. He never, ever, ever would have woken up.
No.
And it bugs me because this movie is so detailed in so many places to levels that it doesn't need to be, that this is such an oversight. Like, take those IV bags away and I don't have that issue, but they're there and he pulls them out and it really...
After 28 days, I'm sure you would have died of dehydration anyway. So,
Yeah.
I mean, do you have to suspend your disbelief slightly for this instance?
Yeah.
Of all the things, do you know?
I do, but it's one of those pet peeves. If this movie was like that all the way through with lots of little continuity errors like that, I wouldn't care. But because this movie is so tight and well crafted in other places, you're like, oh shit, they thought of that. That's really clever. Or you're like, oh, well, they're going to forget this. And they don't. When they miss something so glaring in the opening, like 8 minutes of the movie, I'm like, oh, you fucking dickhead, Danny Boyle. How did you miss that?
See, that's a perfect thing that I can use to compare my issues that I had with Late Night with the Devil, because that is a perfectly crafted movie as well, barring something so simple that was so easily avoided. And as minor as it was, it affected my entire perception of the film. So I completely understand why this would bother you as much as it has done. I didn't get the same thing from it, but I can relate to it now because I had to go through that with the Late Night of the Devil, something that I've never really been bothered by in the past.
Yeah, it just pissed me off. He gets up, he gets on some hospital scrubs, he goes and gets some cans of drink out of the machine, and he wanders into London. These shots in London are phenomenal. They are once in a lifetime movie shots that you will never, ever, ever get again. You'll never see these shots in a movie shot on location again. If they'd done it, like shots like this would always be CGI now. This is a one-off thing, and they're awesome. So awesome.
It looks really, really cool as well, because like you could tell how unique the filming is of this. And it's just as dawn's breaking. It's literally, is it dawn or dusk? It's dawn, isn't it?
Dawn.
Just as dawn's breaking, yeah. And it's very, very desolate. And I think the thing that's so striking in particular about these scenes is this is London. Like, this is one of the most busiest places in the country. To see some of these iconic landscapes like this, so barren, immediately is just jarring to see. Regardless of the context around it, it's just seeing places like Big Ben and things like that with literally nobody in sight. Because no matter what time of the day you go to these locations or night, there is always hundreds of people floating around somewhere.
Yeah, and that the bridge that they film on, Westminster Bridge, I've been across that all times of the day, and I've been over it at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. There is traffic on it at 2 in the morning. Like, it's packed all the time. I honestly, like, it's mind bending to me. The only other time I've seen London like that is when I had to go into London for work during COVID.
Oh yeah, that was a strange time, wasn't it, when we had the COVID lockdown thing?
Yeah, and it was kind of like that, but even then there was still people milling around. There was still cars. There was still stuff going on.
Yeah.
It wasn't empty. He wanders into a church to go have a look around, find some supplies. I like this. I like the setup of the church. I have questions of why there's people there and like everywhere's been evacuated, but I can get over that. Some of the members of the congregation, they all look like they're dead, and then some of them start moving around. His interaction,
Such a cool scene.
Yeah, his interaction with the priest is brilliant.
Yeah,
he's like, Father, what are you doing? Like when the priest's trying to attack him, he's like, whoa, you're a priest. Like, and he has no.
It's a build up to it as well, because he has this carrier bag and he's found all this money on the floor, and his immediate reaction is to pick up all this cash. I'm like, mate, cash is completely irrelevant to you now, but that's what he hits the priest with, this big carrier bag full of money, knocks him to the floor. But I think that scene where he looks over the balcony into the church and you see all the pews lined with dead bodies.
Yeah.
And then immediately you get like 2 or 3 of the rage infected just look up. It is such an impactful scene, especially for somebody who is watching this for the first time, because it fixates on them so well. And while we're at this stage, I just want to quickly talk about how the direction from Danny Boyle. I don't know whether this was his first movie or not. You maybe have the facts on that. Yeah, it's early in his career, and obviously everybody knows Danny Boyle is a fantastic director. This movie in particular has a very amateur level direction and sort of cinematography to it, but it kind of enhances the gritty and raw effects of the film. And I think it works really, really well. In many other cases and many other movies, if you saw a direction like this, you would just think it was a cheap, low budget British movie. But I think it's very vital to the impact of this film. And one thing that he does really, really well early on, he kind of loses it about a third of the way, maybe a little bit after, maybe just over a third of the way into the movie. The first sort of maybe half an hour, 40 minutes is filmed. He does it almost as if like the camera is watching. So instead of filming like a standard movie, he places the camera in places that look like you're looking into something. So like from the top of the pews in the church, you're looking down, and then you see a scene later on when Jim gets back to his parents' house and he's coming up the stairs, and it's almost like you're looking over the balcony down to him, and they're walking through the streets, and it's almost like you're peering through a window watching them walk down the road, and it looks fucking brilliant, and it's so clever the way he does it, but he just doesn't continue it on for the rest of the film. It kind of teeters off about a third of the way in, and
where they all come together, when they all come together and you're focused just on them, that's when it stops doing the shots. It's almost the best way I describe it, it's almost like what a peeping Tom would see if he was looking through a bush. It's that's like
because you kind of feel that like you're watching something you shouldn't be watching, almost like you're peering over a fence or you're looking from behind a curtain into somebody's garden. It's really clever, and I'm like, man, this is so cool. And then when it teeters off, it's I'm not gonna lie, it's disappointing to see that he didn't continue that on, because had the entire movie been done with that aesthetic, it would have been incredible.
Yeah,
but I still appreciate it for what it is early on.
Yeah, I like the way this is shot all the way through. I've got no issues with cinematography. I think Danny Boyle is one of the best, if not the best, British director by miles. He's great.
Yeah.
Cillian Murphy's chased out of the church by the congregation of rage virus zombies. I'm going to call them zombies. I know they're rage-filled people, but they're zombies.
Zombies.
He gets out into the street and he's saved by Selena and Marc. Like, this is cool. They just like rock up, fuck up a couple of zombies. They're like, you're coming with us. And they drag him off to their corner shop. That's like their home base. This is where we get the only exposition in the movie. There's no great exposition in this at all. It's very much, you're in the deep end, fucking work it out for yourselves. And they explain that the world's gone to shit. Everyone's dead. Like, this is what it is now. And Jim's only concern is to go and find his mum and dad. And they're like, look, your mum and dad are as dead can be. He's like, well, I'm going to go. And he tries leaving. They're like, look, where is it? And he's like, oh, it's here. They're like, okay, well, we will take you tomorrow, but you move during the day. You don't, like, nighttime's not a good time for you to go wandering.
Yeah, and the thing is about this as well, they give the context that you shouldn't go out during the day, but they're not vampires, and they don't really give much context other than the fact that we just don't go out in the day. They don't express that the zombies are slower or more, I don't know, they just don't give any idea or indication as to why, unless it's just from a survival standpoint that they've got more of a viewpoint during the day. It's not like they're like scared and hide in the shadows during the day and avoid sunlight.
Yeah, but again, it works. Like I'm happy with that. I don't need that explaining to me.
No, but it's just annoying though, because later on when we get the tunnel scene and stuff, it's like as soon as they get into the tunnel, shit starts going south.
I've got issues with tunnel.
I knew you would have it.
With the abilities of a London taxi, I have questions. They get up and they go to his mum's house, and this scene honestly is heart-wrenching. So he goes up. His mum and dad have killed themselves. They're laying in bed, and they've written him effectively a note saying, "My angel, don't wake up. We'll be with you soon." And I was like, "Oh man, that's rough." But they can't then go back to where they were. They have to spend the night there with his dead parents upstairs. This is where it took a real sharp turn really quick, and I didn't see it coming, and I'd forgotten about it when I watched it this time. The jump scare where you got Selena and Marc are asleep, and he's there and he lights the candle and he ambles through to the kitchen. The zombie coming through the window and attacking him. I was like, fuck, like arms went in the air, legs went up, fucking recliner went back. Really
and again,
cool.
like it's one of those moments which is incredibly cool on screen, but it does bring questions of he lights the candle and the zombies see the light. And it's like, I just want to know more of their insight. Like what attracts them? Are they attracted to the light? Do they have some sort of humanity left inside them that they know that the light means that the humans are in there because they've lit the candle? It's like, it doesn't need it. The movie doesn't need it. And it's only because I've seen this film 1,000 times that I ask these questions. Like I didn't watch it for the first time wanting to know the answers to those kind of questions. It's just because I have seen it so much. And this time through, doing it for the purposes of the show, I'm questioning things a lot more than I usually would. And these were one of the moments where I was like, yeah, but why would lighting that candle mean that they would come through that window?
Yeah, I didn't have that issue with it. I was just like, oh, that's cool. Like they've attacked. The best bit of all of this that makes this one of the most realistic zombie movies ever made. Marc gets bitten. They deal with the zombies. As soon as the zombies are dealt with, Selena kills him without a second's hesitation. There's no, oh, my friend, oh, this is such, just dead. Kills
and
Marc.
The thing is about his death as well is it is brutal. It's not like a swift sort of knife to the head like you get in The Walking Dead to put somebody out their misery. He puts his hand up to prevent her from attacking him with the machete, and she fully cuts one of his arms off in the process. And you see it all. I'm like, oh my god, I forgot how violent this scene was.
Yeah, and he's going, no, and she's like, yes. But there's no forgiveness whatsoever, and she turns from that covered in blood, turns around to Jim and goes, look, the gestation period for this virus once you're bitten is between 10 and 30 seconds.
Yeah. Hesitation will get you killed.
Yeah, hesitation will get you killed. And then these two just wander off into the night after this. They're not really going anywhere, and it doesn't specify whether they're heading back to the shop or whether they're just trying to find somewhere else. And Selena says that having plans is pointless. It's all about survival. It doesn't matter what you do as long as you stay alive. And instantly Jim goes, well, there's Christmas lights on that tower block. Shall we go there? And she's like, yeah, sounds like a plan. Like, I would not be going near anywhere that was illuminated, would you?
No, but that's one of this scene in particular where you see the Christmas lights on the tower block. This was one of the scenes that made me come back to the candle in the window, and I was like, well, the candle in the window draws him. Why the fuck would you illuminate your tower block with Christmas lights, because if light draws them, you are literally sending an invitation to the entirety of London by lighting up this entire tower block the way you have.
Yeah, and yeah, I get it. And I questioned why the lights were there. I also questioned why they are there. So there's been a mass evacuation of the city. They do not want to be there. It's clear from when they get in there, they don't want to be there. But they didn't go with the evacuation. Like, I've got so many questions around him and his daughter.
I don't think I would. Do you know, given that if I put myself in this situation and there was a serious incident and there was a mass evacuation, I would not be following the herd. So I think what he has done only ensured his survival at this point, because everybody else is dead, barring him and his daughter, because he made the right call not to follow the pack. I think in this moment, it is fight or flight. You've got to survive and you've got to protect what's important. And he has done that by keeping him and his family safe. And I think when you do follow a busload of survivors, you're surrounded by strangers who make stupid and idiotic decisions that you cannot control. And I think when you're confined to a tight-knit group such as your family, you can control that situation, you can control that environment, and you can prevent idiocy occurring within the vicinity of yourself. So I think if I was in that situation, that is definitely the call I would have been making as well. I would not be going to ground zero or whatever they like to call it in these situations.
Yeah. See, I genuinely don't know. I think that would be it would be a suck it and see, and I'd make a decision based on information I had. I don't think I'd say instantly I wouldn't. Like, if their plan was to take me from here straight to a ship and take me to another country where this isn't happening, I'd probably go with that. But if their idea was to move me just to another area a little bit further away that they haven't got to yet, then I'd be like, maybe not. I'm not keen on that plan. Like, it would all depend on what the outcome was as to what I would do. They go and investigate the tower block, and they're chased by the infected. They're saved by Brendan Gleeson. For anyone who doesn't know that, he's an awesome actor. For our younger audience, he is Mad Eye Moody from Harry Potter. And he is in full tactical riot gear. And he is amazing. He just like takes out these zombies on the stairs, like, get in, go down there, like door number 12, like, knock on it, my daughter will let you in. And like the daughter's like, no, you're not coming in. He comes around the corner. Oh, it's all right, they're guests, like all chilled now. And he invites them in, and he's like, oh, we've not had guests for so long. What drinks have we got? She's like, well, we've got some of Mum's creme de mousse. He's like, creme de mousse for everyone. It's like, what the fuck is this place?
Yeah, I love him. I think he's fantastic, but I do take issue with his daughter and her insane accent. I don't understand it. What is her accent in this movie? What is she trying to be? It's almost like she's trying to be Scouse, but comes across as South African.
Yeah, I didn't really pay much attention to her, if I'm honest. I kind of was on the "you're gonna die" train for a while with her, and when she didn't, I was a bit like, no. like if it was me making this movie, do I save Brendan Gleeson or do I save the annoying girl with the bad accent? Like, Brendan Gleeson is surviving this.
Oh, I don't know. Brendan Gleeson's turn's awesome.
His turn is awesome. I really like the setup here. So they stay the night, and the next day, Brendan Gleeson takes them up to the roof, and he's showing Jim that he's collecting rainwater. He's like littered the roof of this thing with buckets to collect rainwater. He shows that he's got a radio, and he's picking up a broadcast, and the broadcast is saying about an army base that is safe. And he convinces them to go to this army base, and they do a budging shopping trip. This is exceptionally funny and brilliant, because I used to shop in Budgeons when it was still a thing. So, like,
see, I've never heard of Budgeons before, and I was going to ask you, being a Londoner, is it like a local thing to you?
Yeah, I don't know if they're still going, but Budgeons is like, it's almost like a Morrison's, but like a smaller Morrison's.
Right. Okay.
And like when they were going around the aisles, I'm like, that just looks like the local Budgeons I went to go to. Like, I imagine they're all like a carbon copy of each other, and like they turned around one of the coins. I said to Lisa, I went, I reckon the next aisle was going to be the cereal aisle, and it was. It's like, yes.
I think the most impactful thing is to any British movie is to have a national lottery sign behind whatever scene you're filming. When they go into these budgets and they have the national lottery sign there, I was like, oh, now it feels like a proper British movie.
Yeah, like, this is great. And I also appreciate the fact they didn't cheapen this by throwing in a zombie attack here. It wasn't needed when they get supplies. And every other zombie movie does that. Like they go to get supplies, they get attacked. And this movie, they don't. They go.
And they don't do that throughout. They don't do that throughout. I don't feel like this movie focuses that much on the zombies themselves. Like you get a couple of scenes in the beginning, and then that's it until the end. And this is a 2-hour movie.
Yeah. They load all their stuff into the London taxi. So they come out with their shopping trolleys and you actually watch them unload it. Again, I appreciate that kind of stupid attention to detail we don't need. And they go driving and they get to the point where they run out of fuel and they stop at, I don't know, it's a petrol station. And while they're doing that, Jim goes to investigate inside. This is a true example of fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
Jim's like, I'm just going to go and have a look. And so he's like,
even though Selena told him not to.
She's like, no, don't do that. He's like, no, it's fine. I just want to go and see. There might be something in here I want. And he finds an infected child. Like, this is horrific that he has to kill this child. And he comes out, she's like, everything okay? He's like, yeah. Just gets in the truck. It's like, wow.
You see this a lot in horror movies as well, especially of the zombie genre, where they, like, even Rick Grimes, season 1, episode 1, he has to kill the blonde girl in the pajamas, the girl zombie, and it's like people always cause uproar about this, and it's like, but you've got to understand these aren't human anymore. So, like, realistically, it's just taking out a predator, is it not? Like, I'm not a child killer. Trust me, you don't need to search my attic or my basement. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm just saying, like, in these situations, yeah, man, fuck that kid.
Yes, see, I'm with you on that. And it is a trope. It does reach a point where you're just like, not again. Like every zombie movie kills a kid. It's kind of like it's almost become a trope now. There'll be an infected child, and the character has a crisis of confidence, and they have that moral dilemma of, what do I do? Do I kill them? Do I not? And like The Walking Dead is the biggest culprit for this. They do it multiple times in multiple different scenarios in multiple seasons for over a decade, and it's played
like out. It was really impactful all the way through that show up until. I think the last impactful child kill in that one was when Carol had to kill.
Yeah, the two girls.
Not the Sophia thing that took like a season and a half to get through.
Where
the
she
two girls.
Yeah, walks them out into the fields and goes, just smell
Look
the
at
flowers,
the flowers.
girls.
Yeah.
Bang, bang. Oh, Carol. Carol was my favourite. I loved Carol. Ruthless.
Carol is badass, man. Did she come back in the Daryl Dixon thing?
Yes. Yeah, I like Carol. Carol's character's amazing. They carry on driving after they've refueled now, and they end up staying in like a derelict abbey in a field somewhere where they casually give hardcore narcotics to a child, sleeping tablets. And I have questions. Like, Selena's a chemist. She's established at this point that she's a chemist, which is why she's got this treasure trove of narcotics with her.
Yeah.
But it boggles my mind that anyone would take sleeping tablets in this scenario. And Jim, Selena, and the little girl all take sleeping tablets.
They do, and I have the same opinion as you on this, but I like the fact that Jim highlights it by saying, look, neither of us can sleep. We take the pills, we go to sleep. We get attacked, we don't know about it. It's a win-win. So at least it's addressed. It is addressed. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like they just highlight over it like a lot of movies would. You know, they have the conversation about it as if to say, this is a bad idea and we probably shouldn't be doing this. But hey-ho, at least we'll be knocked out enough to not know that it's happening.
Yeah, see, I'd be asking Selena what other drugs she had in her bag. Like, if you've got anything there that will, like, fill me with anger and rage, so if anything does come, I can deal with it. Like, you've got to have something. You've got downers in there. You've got sleeping tablets and antidepressants. You've got to have something in there that's going to lift me up and get me like full pumped up.
Yeah, Yeah, you need like that adrenaline shot to the chest during an
Yeah.
attack.
Yeah, I need you to Pulp Fiction me every time a rage infected comes near me. This movie's really uneventful. Like, they arrive at the army outpost, no issues.
You've missed the whole taxi tunnel thing, though. You had major beef with it, and you've skidded over it.
I have skidded over it because it's fucking atrocious.
Let's do it now. Let's do it now. Tell me what your issues are with this scene. So we get to the point where they hit a crossroads when they're on their way to Manchester, and Jim tells them before they get into the tunnel, we should stay on the surface. This is a bad idea. We shouldn't be going anywhere where there isn't active daylight. Brendan Gleeson, makes a decision to take the tunnel route. And as soon as they get in there, you can see broken down cars and traffic grids, and they're struggling to get through before they've even entered. But he continues to push through anyway.
Yeah, so my issue with this is they reach a roadblock of cars. The road is fully blocked, and he bunny hops the London taxi on top of the cars and drives it over the cars and then bunny hops it off the end. They get a flat tire.
It's a flat tire, though.
But beyond, like, how does it get on top of the cars? Like, I don't care. Like, I drive a truck, a 4x4 truck, and my truck could not drive over cars without getting stuck. This is a London taxi that has low sides to let old people get in. This isn't driving over anything like more than an inch high. It really.
No.
I honestly, I don't understand why they done it, because it's fucking awful. Which is why I skimmed over it.
It is terrible. It is a really bad scene, and it is a poor choice to add to this movie. I think they do. I'm not trying to justify it, but because I hate it just as much as you do. I think it's a poor decision in terms of writing and filmmaking to have this included in such a grounded and gritty movie. But you do see that it's not just cars, it's like shopping trolleys and things like that. And as he goes up on top of the cars in the monster truck style fashion, it does look like there is like a ramp up, like a path up for him to justify being able to do it. But still, it's fucking stupid.
It is just so dumb. Like, the actual decision to go down there was dumb. Like, what are you worried about? Fucking traffic. It's the end of the world. There are no cars. Go whatever fucking way you want. It's not like you're in a rush to get there.
It does provide a really cool heart-pounding scene, because obviously as the tire is broken, they have to repair it with the spare. They're all doing it. And then obviously the rage start coming through the tunnel. And it's really cool. You get the music, you get the heart pumping beat sort of thing. It's a really cool scene. And Cillian Murphy and Brendan Gleeson have to physically lift the car up in order for his daughter to put the tire on, just so they can get away just in time. It's cool. You get the whole Cillian Murphy sort of "I told you so" look towards him. I like it, and it does enhance the character development and the relationships between the group. And kind of more than anything, I find this movie to be a Jim story arc. I know it's a zombie movie, I know the rest of it, but it's more a progression of his character and how he's dealing with the apocalypse and how he's growing as a person throughout.
Yeah.
Something by the time we get to the closing act, he's just a fucking Terminator. But this scene is vital, but I feel like they could have done it in a better way. I don't think they need to do the whole fucking Italian job thing down the tunnel to showcase the shift in dynamic in the group.
No, they really don't. And they get out of here, they get to the roadblock, which is the army outpost, and there's no one there. And this is where Brendan Gleeson has a bit of a meltdown, and he's effing and blinding, and he kicks a fence. And on top of the fence, there is an infected. And you get this drop of blood, and it's beautifully shot, falls down and hits him in the eye. Possibly how he become Mad Eye Moody, I don't know. But I love... This is one of the most impactful scenes in the entire movie. He turns to his daughter, and his daughter goes, "Everything okay?" So, "Yeah, everything fine, darling. I love you. Now get the fuck away from me."
Yeah.
Because he knows he's got no time at all. And Jim's put in a position where Jim's got to put him down. And again, I like the fact he didn't have to, because the military rock up, they put him down in a second, they lump them all
But
into
again,
the
it's a
cars.
hesitation, though. The hesitation from Jim in this moment is vital to showcase his growth by the time we get to the end of the movie, because he should have reacted immediately. He had Selena shouting at him, do it, do it, do it now, do it now. And he was hesitating too long. And by the time he was about to do something, it was too late, because he'd already turned and he was charging at him. And the chances are he would have probably taken him down, killed his daughter, and then killed Selena in that moment, I feel. But yeah, you're right. The army take him down. One thing while it's in my mind, because it always bugs me when I watch this movie, and I want to talk about it, but also want to highlight how awesome it is. Danny Boyle makes some creative choices throughout here that are really interesting to me. One of them is when we get this long panning driving shot and you see him around the wind turbines and stuff like that. We go through a meadow of flowers, but the flowers are actually oil paintings. It's an oil painting flowers in the meadow. And every time I watch this movie, it always confuses me as to why that is there like it is. Because nothing else in this movie is showcased in the way that that scene is in particular. It's really, really cool, but also at the same time, I just never understand it when I watch it. And there's another one that he does earlier on when Mark, Selena, and Jim are in the house. And there's like this weird sort of, almost like, do you know if you're looking like out of your eye and you've got something in the corner of your eye and it's sort of like casting shadow? They're looking out over this building and you see like this sunset skyscraper, but then all of a sudden the screen sort of comes down and you realize that the corner thing that you feel like's itching in the corner of your eye is the frame reel from the next scene, and it all sort of blends through into shot, and it's so cool. But I don't understand it, because these two scenes that I picked out in particular have no context as to why they're there, unless you have something interesting for me in facts.
Do you know, I looked, couldn't find anything. Just
it's so bizarre, isn't it?
Danny Boyle did, because Danny Boyle wanted to. That's kind of like
it's almost like he's experimenting so much with this movie due to the fast changing perspectives and cinematography and direction that he chooses throughout it. It's almost like, I wonder if this would work, and I'm going to try this and see if this works. And he's just sort of thrown them all together, and it does work as a whole. But like, I can't help but look at these particular things and be like, why have you done that here?
And the thing is, the meadow one in particular, that is very much if you're half watching it, or it goes on for a little while, but it's not glaring, it's not right in your face. Like if you're just focusing on that taxi going down the road, you could miss
notice it.
You genuinely,
and it's filler scenes as well. It's filler scenes, so it's not purposefully done for any other reason. But the effort that must have had to go in to do that and to make it like that obviously means something.
That's more effort than just filming him go past a meadow.
Exactly.
He's made it
it's like
himself. I don't know. If anyone knows, call into the show. If you're a super diehard 28 Days Later fan, or you're Danny Boyle, call in and explain it to us.
I'd hate it for it to be something really simple, like the road that they filmed that scene on had a road below it that had high amounts of traffic, so they just had to CGI a meadow over the top. So he tried to blag everybody by using oil painting effects and make it look purposeful.
I'm going to release this clip when we release the episode. Everyone tag Danny Boyle.
Yes, do that.
Get an answer from
I hope he reaches out.
That'd be amazing. They take him up to the base, which is a country manor. And the captain there explains their defenses and the fact that they're going to get to see action, but it'll be okay because they've got this place locked down. And he gives Jim a tour, and we meet an infected soldier. And he's like, why are you keeping him? He's like, well, if I keep him till he dies, I know how long it takes them to starve. And you're like, oh, really clever. Yeah, okay. I'm in for that. It all makes perfect sense to me.
He has a really cool speech here as well, because it's not just as simple as that. He explains to him that he kept him originally to learn from him, and the only thing that he's learned from this creature is that he has no future. He'll never go shopping again. He'll never, and he goes on for a while. And the guy, I always forget his name. He's such a cool actor. He played Doctor Who for a bit.
Yes, he did. I don't know his name either.
No, he's an incredible actor, and he's so cool in this movie. But I do like this scene in particular where it sort of shows that even he, as a soldier and a fighter for people, has given up all hope. And you see that in him in this moment as he kneels down beside the infected. You can see that all hope has gone from him. And he says, well, worst case scenario, at least now I'll know how long it takes for one of them to starve to death.
Yeah, it all, like, all of this works. It all works perfectly. It's all tied together right. All of the characters make sense. There's nothing here that jumps out at me as being like bad. And like, if I was taken to this place as Jim or Selena, I'd be like, we have landed on our feet. Have you seen they've got gun turrets? That's where my mind would be. And then it goes all a little bit like,
Come on out, you rapist!
It does.
And I'm going to say something now. Danny Boyle, you fucked up. Anyone who buys into this concept is an idiot. It has been 28 days and the men are so deprived of female contact. Like, none of these men are married. That is fact. Like, 28 days does not make you fucking feral, and it pisses me off. It's so lazy. It's just,
no, but this is the thing. I don't think it does. I don't think it does make a generalized person lazy. But I think, and this is no insult, I mean this in no way as an insult. This is just purely speculation. But I think given the boys club mentality of the group of people, the army, in particular in this instance, the soldiers, I think it's understandably believable to get that, given that they are in a position of power that they are, and they feel like they are the saviors of the community and the people, and even they have given up all hope of existence, the savagery would take over, and that they would feel that they are, well, this is our country now, this is our kingdom, we can do what we want, there are no laws, we have to answer to nobody. And they do give us a little bit of context. Yeah, I think so. A month's a long time, mate. I just went on a holiday for 7 days. It felt like a fucking year.
But no, like, I don't buy into it. After make this 6 months, make this 8 months, make it a year. Like, all of that, I buy into it. Like, that mindset and that group of people would end up in this place. After 28 days, people who are actively trained to save people, I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. The military do not employ people who have this mindset. Like, that's a myth brought on by movies. Like, the people who are serving in our military go away for 6 to 8 month tours where they have no contact with anyone. This is no different. And it really annoys me. It paints the armed services in a really bad light, and it wound me up.
It does, but I'm on the same fence where I have friends who are in the army and have served time, and these are by no means, or any stretch of the imagination, military veterans. These are just idiots who I know and equate with, who have done where they join up for a little bit and have to go do the basic training, and then they go to the boys club, and they just meet a group of people who do really weird shit together in the army, because it is just a mass boys club. Like these, and I think this movie does a good job of portraying that these are not elite soldiers. These are just the runt of the litter from the army, and they are controlled by this puppeteer who is the head guy of this mansion who's controlling things. And the fact that they include the sergeant, who is a dedicated military veteran who is conflicted, and what's really cool is they indicate to you that he's the bad one of the group.
Yeah.
When we first meet him. And then you find out and you realize, no, he's the one who has the honor. He's the one who literally wants to leave this group, but he knows there's nothing else out there for him. So he's forced to stay with them up until the point where he turns on them when he needs to, with the introduction of these females. And I think that's really cool to introduce that character. So I get what you're saying, but I also disagree. And I think that this movie handles it very, very well in the way that it does, and it shows that these are not elite soldiers. These are not the high end of the group. These are just the runt of the group, and they're controlled by this puppeteer. And I think that it's vital having that sergeant character in there who turns on them to show that there is hope within the army and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the situation well enough to cast doubt on people's ability within that job role. And as I said, I didn't mean to cause any offense by my comments. That's not what I was trying to say. It's just, for me watching it, I think they do a good job of setting up the characters and the development of them in this closing act to justify the actions and make them believable.
Oh,
and
yeah,
you might be right. They are showcasing them in a bad light.
Yeah,
but
it don't give me. It's
works.
believable. It's believable, but it doesn't work for me in this time frame. And I've like the whole rape thing. I hate it as a plot device in movies. I've got a real issue with it. They handle it quite well in this, but I don't like it. And I think as soon as that element comes into any movie, instantly I'm like my back's up, and I'm like, fucking, you don't need to do this. Like, this is a zombie movie. It's scary enough as it is without throwing this in. And like, this really does escalate really quickly from here. So you get a moment where one of the soldiers gets gropey with Selena. Jim punches him, and then it ends up with Jim and one of the other soldiers who defends the girls being marched off to be executed. The soldiers killed, and Jim like gets up over a wall, and these two asshole soldiers who've gone out to kill him, like, oh, he's gone over the wall. Oh well, he's dead. We'll tell him he's dead.
This was so cool as well because they shoot the sergeant who was defending them to prevent them from being attacked. In the field, and as they shoot him, like the showcasing the idiocy of these soldiers, he shoots him in mid-range right next to the other soldier, causing the other soldier to be startled and is to say, like, you almost shot me, what the fuck are you doing? These two get distracted and fight. Jim's really clever in this instance, and instead of running off into the forest to get shot and hunted down, he just dives into a pile of dead raged to mask himself, and they think he's ran off, so they chase after him. He stands up, and his next instinct is to try and make it look like he's jumped over the wall. So he takes his top off and he throws it on top of the barbed wire, so they think that he's escaped the compound, when actually, in actual fact, he's just hiding around the corner of a smaller wall. It's like, and the thing is as well, it's like Jim's character from the beginning to where he is now in this instance is just so cool, like to see him grow. And you get all these cool steps and all these cool little actions throughout the movie that work towards where he is now in just a matter of a few scenes. And they don't focus on them as a point to say, watch this is going to be relevant later. Watch this is going to be relevant later. It just almost naturally progresses throughout to where it gets to this point where he is, in essence, a Terminator and taking out an entire army squadron, and you believe it.
Oh, like where he ends up is fabulous. Like, we're going to get there in a minute. Selena and the girl being dressed for some kind of planned sex rape thing is just awful. Like, they're trying to force her into this dress, and she's like, look, just leave us alone. Go outside. I'll get us dressed. And she tries giving the little girl drugs. And she's like, are you trying to kill me? And she's like, no, I'm just giving you drugs so you just don't care. Like, it just won't be a thing. And it's awful, and it's only broken up by the air raid siren. And this is where Jim has gone to the blockade, and he's just winding the old hand crank air raid siren, and soldiers go out to look for him. He fucks them up so well. Like the scenes where they're looking for him, and you see like his feet go across the runway above him, and then they look up and he's not there. Like, he becomes Batman in this scene.
He is Batman.
he literally, there's a bit where he drops down, takes one of them out, and goes back up, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah,
like,
it's cool,
so
man.
Good. And I love the fact that he gets back to the house, and when he gets back to the house, he is like so clued up on what he's doing. He's like, I know exactly what I need to do. I'm going to go in and I'm going to let the infected soldier out and just let things take its course. But this whole thing is brilliant. And the fact he's making noises to lure soldiers, and then he's making a big bang to lure the infected. And all he's doing is he's just drawing these two entities together, knowing the outcome, and he's not getting involved. And it's brilliant to watch. It's so beautifully shot, where there's a scene where he's like watching through the window, and he's almost he's like caked in mud, bit of blood, and he's like almost smiling, like, ha, fucking got you. It's beautiful.
And that's it. And I know I've referenced him as being like the Terminator, but he's not. He's not necessarily going out and John Rambo and all these guys. He's just putting things in motion that work to his advantage. He's luring people into certain places, knowing that if he goes there, all I need to do is open that door, and that infected is going to take that guy out, and so forth. And even with the only kill that he actually really, I mean, he does 2 kills in this final scene.
The one with the bayonet is awesome.
The one with the bayonet, it wasn't like it was a vital attack. The guy literally just ran into him.
Yeah.
You know, it's like he didn't have to savagely take him down. He knew the guy was running towards him. He hid around the corner, and all he had to do was just walk out and hold it in his direction, and he ran straight into the middle of it. It's not. I keep talking about how much he's grown from the start of the movie, but it's not in an unbelievable way, the way they set this final act out, because you can see it all unfolding more from a thought process than an actual I'm Arnie and I'm just going to shoot a load of bad guys and all the rest of it.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. I mean, he gets the girls, they rush out, they get in the taxi. It's the little girl who gets in to drive, and they open the back door, and the commanding
Doctor Who.
officer is Doctor Who's used the TARDIS to get in the taxi, and he shoots Jim.
Yeah.
Now, the way that the girl kills the commander again is brilliant. She slams it in reverse, reverses into the house, and just pulls the handbrake up and waits for the infected to drag him through the back window.
Because she's in a black cab and they can't break through to the front to get. He can't break through to the front to tell her to move, sort of thing.
No.
But again, this is set up perfectly, because usually you'd be like, oh, what is she, Vin Diesel? But no, they show this earlier on when they're getting fuel and she has to wait at the back of the car park until they're sorted so she's safe. And he asks her to bring the car forward and she like slams it in a handbrake turn up into them. And he's that. I love this scene as well. Like, I know I'm going backwards now, but I love this scene because Brendan Gleeson gives her a telling off, as if to say, like, you shouldn't be doing that, get out of the car. And then as she walks away out of his eye line, he sort of gives a real proud dad smile, as if to say, yeah, that was awesome. Even though I can't tell you how awesome that was, I am proud of you.
he sort of looks at Jim and like, did you see that? It's like a full-on slide as she come around the corner. We now get some flash images of Cillian Murphy getting CPR, and then we see him wake up in a bed. He gets up, he comes out of this little house in a cottage somewhere, and Selena's sewing loads of stuff together. There's no infected. We hear a plane fly over. We see some infected dying on the road where they're starving. And then the girl comes in like, it's here. And they drag this big thing that Selena's knitting outside, and they write hello on the hillside. The end.
Yeah. One thing about that end that I do like as well in particular is that it starts as it ends. So at the beginning of the movie, you get the headline, black screen, 28 days later. You see him get shot and you get all the medical treatment and stuff like that. And it goes to black again and says 28 days later at the bottom. And it's almost like he wakes up from a coma at the beginning. He also wakes up from a sort of coma at the end after he's been shot. And I think that's really cool. It's very simplistic and it's been done thousands of times throughout movies, but I just think it's a good beginning and closing full circle moment.
Like I'm like you, I love a good bookend on each end of the movie. Like
bookend's the perfect way to describe it. Yeah,
tie the movie back to the beginning, end it how you start it. That's a self-contained movie. I'm happy I can walk away.
Yeah,
and this movie is that. It's not, but it is.
It is.
Let's take a break. After this episode, why not check out the Paranormal Misfits podcast? Hosted by Chrissy and Nino, this show looks at everything paranormal, conspiracy theories, murder. They also do reviews into horror movies too. This show has it all. Also available on the You Run Podcast Network, the Horror Friendly Podcast, hosted by Charlie, Katie and Chantel. This hilarious review podcast covers movies from the past, the present and everything else in between. You do not want to miss this great addition to the You Run Podcast Network. And all of these shows and many more are all available at yourunpodcast.com. Make sure you go to yourunpodcast.com, check out the other members, check out our shop, do all the cool stuff, do all the stuff you do for us for them. I guarantee you at least one of the other shows on the network you will absolutely adore. So go and do that. 3-word review. After some comments that Mark has made about 3-word review in the last month, I've decided to make 3-word review a little bit more elitist.
Excellent.
For you to get on 3-word review, your 3-word review has to be good. It has to be.
I thought you were done then. I thought that was it.
It has to be something that makes it stand out. So we're not going to do. There's not going to be any more 3-word reviews that say haven't seen it. There's not going to be any more 3-word reviews that say fuck this movie. Like those are all gone. So if you want to be part of 3-word review, you need to put in the work. Try a bit harder.
Be creative.
Yes, and people didn't disappoint. Over on X, Pop Culture Reflections, Scary Fast Zombies. Pop Culture Reflections, member of the You Run Podcast Network. Go and check them out as well. Z-Pod, cardio definitely required. And what their podcast is a rom-com audio drama.
Say that again.
Rom-com audio drama. So it's a zombie romantic comedy audio drama podcast. Awesome.
Excellent.
Over on Slasher, Ghost Walker 237, The British Walking Dead. And they're a horror account. Noel, Cillian Murphy Pantless. They're a horror account. Over on Threads, Horror Movies and Shit, Slick Inventive Original. And they're also a horror movie podcast. Really, really cool. That's Jim. Go and check that out. Sci-fi and Horror Fan, Redefining a Genre. There's no prizes for guessing what their account is about. I don't need to explain it. Instagram, Everyone138, Rare Copy DVD. And they're a horror movie. Sorry, a horror and heavy metal fan. Old Nerdy Bastard, Naked and Afraid. That's one of the hosts of the You Gonna Eat That Crust podcast. Nightmare Reading, London Finally Quiet, and they're a horror book account. Dewey
See,
Pod
that's
Monster.
creative.
Yeah. Dewey Pod Monster, Effective Train Spotting Sequel. And after he said it, like, make this in your head a sequel to Train Spotting. It actually works.
I can imagine it does. Yeah, I haven't seen Train Spotting in years, man.
No, I haven't either. Voices from the Mausoleum, Angel, Peak Zombie Magic. Again, another member of the You Run Podcast Network. Horror Movie Maniacs, Red Eyed Raged. And they're also brilliant podcasts. Check them out as well. Let's do some facts. Facts for this, there were loads. Like I could have done a whole episode of facts on this movie. So for the scenes they done on the motorway, you know, where they're driving down the M1 and there's nothing on it.
Yeah.
They filmed that on a Sunday morning between 7 and 9. So what the police done is the police slowed traffic in each direction to give them a 2-hour window to film.
All right, man, that must have been chaos on the roads that Sunday morning. Sundays are just as busy as a normal weekday.
Danny Boyle had 10 cameras from 10 different locations set up, and they filmed the scene repeatedly for 2 hours. They got a total of 1 minute usable footage without another vehicle in it, something happening in it. 1 minute out of 2 hours worth of shooting.
Wow.
I'd be heartbroken.
Yeah.
So he wanted that to be a really big scene. And after he got back and looked at the footage, he's like, I guess we get a minute that day.
Seeing things like that as well, like that must cost a fortune in order to have the manpower to do that and close the roads. And obviously you've got to pay like the county and all the rest of it.
Yeah, plus you've got 10 camera crews filming from different angles. You're redoing the shot again and again and again to get 1 minute. That must have been heartbreaking. All of the infected are athletes, like professional and semi-professional athletes. Every single one of them.
They kind of need to be in this movie.
Danny Boyle said, like, his mindset behind this was, what would it be like if the infected was so much more superhuman than us? And his mindset behind it was, let's make them athletes. Let's make them chase Cillian Murphy and tell him that if they catch him, like, we're going to have to redo the shot. So he'd basically give Cillian Murphy a head start and then get like 100-meter sprinters to chase him down while screaming, zombie. nearly didn't have Cillian Murphy in this. Ewan McGregor was originally cast in this role.
I think that would have worked.
It would have worked. He had a
They're
falling
very
out.
similar, aren't they?
Yeah, it didn't happen because he had a falling out with Danny Boyle. So he was going to be cast in this movie, and he was also going to be cast in The Beach in the role of Leonardo DiCaprio. He didn't get cast for that, and him and Danny Boyle had quite a big falling out because he was promised that role. They've made up now, but yeah, that's why we didn't get him in this because basically, Ewan McGregor went.
Did Danny Boyle do Train Spotting?
Yeah.
Okay. Makes more sense why I would want to bring him over then.
Yeah. The end of the film where you see the hello, you see the pilot flying over. The last words you hear in the movie is the pilot radioing back, and it's Lathenko helicoptering, which means we'll send helicopter.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So
I can't say I've ever
tell,
picked up on that before.
But yeah, but I didn't either. I found it in facts. But basically, they tell you that they do get saved because they're going to send a helicopter for them. There are multiple endings to this movie that were shot. A few of the endings have Cillian Murphy being taken to a hospital, treated and dying. And they had the final shot being Selena and the girl walking out into the world. And Danny Boyle saw that as they've survived. They're going to go out into the world, and everyone will leave the movie happy. Test audiences went, well, they're going to fucking die, aren't they? Which is why he changed the ending. Because they have a bit on the test audience was like, did you think the ending was hopeful or sad or whatever? Like all of them, like they're dead. He's like, yeah, I missed the mark on that. Let's reshoot it.
You say that though, but I think Selena's more badass than he is. I know he's awesome at the end, but
yeah, the last facts I found really weird and completely unnecessary. So, Danny Boyle and Naomi Harris, who plays Selena, sat down and spent hours storyboarding and crafting a backstory for Selena that they never used in the movie, and they'd done it just to get her in character to give her an understanding of why she's a ruthless bitch. And the story.
I want to know what the backstory is now.
Well, I'm going to tell you. There's the backstory.
Oh, right, you actually have it.
Her mother was infected, and basically her mother attacked her father, and she had a choice of saving her father or her baby brother. She chose to save her baby brother. The mother infected the father. The father got hold of the baby and took the baby from her, and basically everyone died. And her moment of hesitation, deciding between saving her father and saving the baby brother, that split second where she paused, is why now she doesn't hesitate.
Yeah, you see, that's a really, really cool backstory, but I feel like there is no place in this movie for flashback exposition.
No, the only way
that
works
wouldn't have worked.
The only way it works is if you take Jim out of the movie, make it a Selena movie. It works.
Well, that's it. Yeah, as well, of course, because Selena's not the protagonist of the movie necessarily. I don't know. I just don't feel like backstories and stuff like that, because everything is so grounded and raw. Like to have that then. So say like Jim and Selena were having a conversation late at night, and then they explained it, but the camera panned away and showed us it. That wouldn't have worked for me. I mean, they could have done it, and they could have still included it by having the conversation unfold and her just explaining to Jim what had happened to her at the start of the apocalypse. That would have worked.
I'm with you. It doesn't work, which is probably why they didn't use it. But it's a lot of effort to go for something you're not going to use.
Yeah. Oh, agreed. Yeah. Interesting, though. It does make more sense to her character.
Yeah, it does. We're going to play a new game, a brand new game that we've never played before. And it's going to be a fun game for you and for me and for everybody listening.
We'll see about that. It never usually is fun for me.
This is called I Will Survive. So I'm going to give you £1,000, and you have £1,000 to spend across 4 categories to survive a zombie apocalypse. Your categories are clothing, weapons, transport, and accommodation.
Yeah.
You can only spend 1,000, no more. You can spend under, that's fine. But that's what you get. And we're going to work out whether you would survive. Everyone's going to call in or sending messages to see if you would survive. So, are you ready
Right,
for your
okay.
first category? Your first category is clothing.
Yes.
Okay. These are your clothing options. You can go out in shorts for £25. You can go in jeans and t-shirt for £50, a tailored suit for £100, a medieval suit of armor for £150, or full tactical riot gear for £200.
Obviously, the shorts are not practical all year round. The Knights of Armor suit is very impractical regardless of the time of year. I don't understand how people used to fight in that thing. It must be an effort to walk.
I used to work with someone who used to do like proper fighting with swords.
Oh, like
Like
on a
in the-
weekend where they do like
Yeah,
wizards in a field and shit.
Yeah, but he used to come in with black eyes and broken fingers. Like they proper go for it with their blunted metal swords.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's a bit violent then. I just thought it was nerds in a field.
Go and Google. I can't remember what it's called, but if you go and Google knights fighting and just put in like last year or this year, they do whole competitions like boxing matches where they have knockout competitions, and they beat the shit out of each other with big iron broadswords and maces and wooden bats, and it's cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, that does sound cool. I'm inclined to go for the tactical gear, but again, I do feel like that is a bit heavy duty for escaping and running. So I also feel like the jeans and t-shirts is something that I'm probably more likely to lean towards. But you know what? It's an apocalypse. I want to look good. I'm going to go for the suit for £100. I feel like I've got the money to spare, so I'm going to go for the suit.
Okay, so you've chosen a tailored suit to go into the,
Yes.
the end
Well,
of
if
the
it's
world.
tailored, then it's a perfect fit. So it's comfortable, it's agile. So I'm going for the suit, please, sir.
Okay, you've spent £100. You've £900 left. Let's have a look at your options of weaponry.
Ooh,
you have a
interesting.
Michael Myers butcher's knife for £25, Freddy Krueger's glove for £50. For £100, you can have a spear. For £150, you can have a barbed wire wrapped baseball bat. Or for £200, you can have a crowbar.
So the Michael Myers knife is a no because it's too short range. As great as it is for close range combat, I don't think it's very good. The Freddy glove, I don't feel like that is practical. I feel like I see it in the movies and stuff like that, but I feel like that. I don't feel like the actual glove itself is strong enough to withstand them not just deterring from the glove itself. So I'm not going to go for the Freddy glove. The spear as well, as good as it is for long range, I don't feel like it's very good in close combat. I'm inclined to go for the Negan bat because it's a baseball bat. We've seen what Negan can do with that shit. That seems pretty good. But I'm going to go with the crowbar because not only is it a weapon, it's also a practical piece of equipment for entering buildings and stuff as well. So I'm going with the crowbar. £200, please.
So you've spent £300. You now have £700 left, and 2 categories. You've got a lot of money to burn.
Yeah.
Let's find
I
out
want
how
that penthouse.
Let's find out how Mark is traveling in the apocalypse. For £100, you can get a bicycle. For £200, you can get a motorbike and sidecar. For £300, you can have a smart car. For £400, you can have a Ford Dodge truck. Or for £500, you can have a tank.
Yeah,
All
this
of which
one's a
you can
no-brainer.
afford.
Yeah, this is a no-brainer. The tank is too slow. The bike is just... People shouldn't ride bikes anywhere. If you're a cyclist, just get off the road. The sidecar thing, cool. Yeah, if you've got a dog.
In your
the
tailored
smart
suit.
car, in my tailored suit. The smart car, I feel like they're going to be... They're electric, right? We're not going to have any electricity, so I'm not going to be able to charge that thing. So I'm going to go with the pickup truck, not only because it's an all-terrain vehicle. I could drive over shit, and I could probably do a better job than that London Taxi did in this movie. But it also has a rear back end for me to store supplies in. So I'm going with the pickup truck, please, sir.
Okay, which leaves you £300. So you have a tailored suit, you have a crowbar, and you have a pickup truck.
I am the coolest guy in the apocalypse.
The question is, where are you going to live? Are you going to live in a garden shed for £50? a container for £100, a barge for £150, a normal house for £250, or a medieval castle which you can't afford for £500.
Well, I can't afford the castle, so I'm not going to take that. I'm also not going to take the Wendy house because I feel like you could just push that over anywhere. The house, again, I don't feel like is secure enough. For security purposes, I think the best thing to go for is a storage container. But again, it's a statutory location. It's not something I can just pick up and move with me. But at the same time, I'm also not going to be able to take my pickup truck on side a boat. But a boat is great because the zombies can't get in water, as far as I'm aware. So I think the boat is the best option, but also it's very easy access to get inside the boat. But I feel like a storage container is very secure. There's no access to it once you're inside and it's locked. It just depends on the location of where you're going to store it. But I'm going to go with the storage container, and we can iron out the finer details later on. I think the storage containers are most secure. There's no access. There's one point of entry in and out. And once you're in there, you're secure. Fill that with a bed, fill that with supplies. You're good to go for a good solid week or two.
Wow, you've done really well. Better than I thought you were going to. And you have £200 left to spare.
Let it rain, baby.
Yeah, £200 you cannot spend in the apocalypse. That was a different and rather odd game. Let us know.
I feel like I did well there. I feel like I did well. I feel like I could even stretch out and buy myself a second pair of clothing and get the tactical gear to go with it.
You could. Let us know, listeners, what you thought of that. Because if you like that, we might do those in the future, and I'll make them a little bit more difficult in choice. I'm going to let you round this up first. I'm going to save my feelings till the end.
No problem. So for me, 28 Days Later is an iconic movie within the zombie subgenre. This kind of revitalized what was, in my opinion, a very stagnant subgenre by the time this came out, introducing the fast-paced, rage-filled zombies. As far as I'm aware, anyway, it was something very new and very groundbreaking within the subgenre. And for me, I think it was needed and was necessary to change things up. I love zombies and I love 28 Days Later. My preference in zombie movies is the Romero slow shambling zombies. But I love this movie, whether that be from the fantastic casting from Cillian Murphy, Brendan Gleeson, Doctor Who, the girl who plays Selena. I think the only wonky performance that I have issues with is Brendan Gleeson's daughter. I think she is terribly miscast. I think her accent's atrocious and her performance throughout is very wooden. She doesn't hold a lot of impact given the vital situation she finds herself in throughout this movie. I think a make or break thing for any zombie movie is the makeup effects of the zombies themselves, something that I feel this movie handles very, very well. I love the red eye contact lenses, and I think the blood and the scarification makeup and stuff looks fantastic. The soundtrack to this movie is brilliant. You get very various degrees of different sort of scores and choir level music cues throughout, which is brilliant and really enhances every situation. The direction from Danny Boyle is it's hit and miss depending on who you are and what you appreciate from movies. I don't think that somebody who enjoys movies as much as you do and I do, and people who are probably listening to the show do, would watch this movie and think, oh, that's shit, the quality of it's crap. But as we've addressed earlier, there's a lot of things in here that he's done and experimented with throughout that are amazing and really, really incredible and impactful. It is on the lower end scale of quality and would be considered probably a low budget movie if it didn't have the success it had, I think, based on Boyle's direction. But I like it. I could appreciate it. And there's a lot of stuff in here that I constantly find myself appreciating and noticing upon multiple rewatches. I make me think, oh, I didn't pick up on that before. That's a really cool way that you shot that and edited that together and switched that perspective. and I'm always finding those every time I watch it, and I've seen this movie 1,000 times over. Yeah, I love this movie a lot. I really, really do. This time around, I did feel it had slightly dated, and it wasn't as impactful as it was to me 10 years ago. But that's the case with every movie, and I'm just toying with myself now whether I degrade it slightly because of that, or I live in a world where this is the greatest zombie movie made in the last 3 or 4 decades. There's no denying what this movie has done and brought to the genre, and the way it changed things on its head, something that it was very much needed. But I'm not going to give it top marks because there is issues that I have with it, such as certain castings and little tidbits that we've addressed throughout this episode with things that don't necessarily make sense and could have been fleshed out a little bit better. And I always used to argue how much this was a better movie than its sequel. I just don't know if I can argue that case anymore, which is strange to me because I do love this movie a lot. 28 weeks later, it's fucking awesome, man, in comparison.
It's this on steroids.
It really is. And it's like I kind of get myself in a position where I always cling on to the fact that how blown away by this movie I was the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
And I think we do that a lot as viewers and critics and reviewers and all the rest of it. It's like you watch something for the first time and it blows your mind. You're like, that is it. That is the coolest thing that's ever happened. And then every time you watch it, you pick little bits apart, but you can't let go of that feeling you had the first time you watched it. And I'm kind of in that boat at the moment with this movie, whereas I want to give it top marks. I want to say it's the greatest thing ever, but I know there's a little piece of me inside that's saying to myself, come on, man, get real. You know it's not that good anymore. So I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5, but just know I say that with regret because I do love this movie a lot. And I think what it has done for the genre hasn't been replicated since. And I don't think it probably will be again either.
No, I agree with that. I mean, this movie is riddled with plot holes. If you overanalyze it, it falls apart. It just crumbles in your hand. It's bleak. It's depressing. It uses themes of sexual assault and rape that I think are there just to get a rise out of the audience. It's got very little dialogue or exposition. It drops you in and expects you to fill in all the blanks. And despite all of that, it is one of the best zombie movies ever made and one of the few zombie movies that sits in a place that I really, really appreciate and I really rate it. I don't need all the information in a post-apocalyptic world because in reality, if you were in that world, you would know nothing. No. You would know exactly what they know in this movie. The zombies are terrifying and quite honestly, one of the best depictions of a zombie I would be afraid of. Like, give me slow Romero zombies every day of the week. Like, they don't bother me. They don't affect me. Give me a zombie that is as fast as an Olympic athlete, as strong as a powerlifter, and can rip my throat out. I'm not down for that at all. No. This movie is the second best zombie movie ever made, next to Shaun of the Dead.
I knew you were going to go there.
Yeah, and they share a score. This is a perfect 5 out of 5 for me. This is as good as... This is the best serious zombie movie ever made. And it sits in number 2 on a level par with 28 Weeks Later, which is the best zombie sequel ever made. I love this movie. There's so many holes in it. I've got so many problems with it. But when I get to the end of it, every time I'm like, yeah, well, it's still awesome. A good movie. Yeah, it was still great. Wow. I scored a zombie movie high.
You scored a zombie movie higher than I scored a zombie movie, which is still blowing my mind a little bit.
Yeah, very strange. That's it for another week. Thank you so much to everyone who's listening. Special thank you again to Skelly and her wonderful partner, Brad, who are also... still going after an hour and 40 minutes Skelly. He's a keeper. He's a stallion. We're going to be back next week with a brand new episode. We're covering a classic horror movie that my opinions are going to cause some serious conflict. Me and Mark have already discussed it, and I shared a snippet of my opinions, and he didn't reply to me for 24 hours.
I was in shock. I was in serious shock. I'll be honest with you. I think you're brave to come out with the opinions you have for next week's episode.
I think I am. But until then, be afraid. Be very afraid.
Hey everyone. The You Run Podcast.
The You Run Podcast.
You want to die tonight?
Scott, I think you know who the fuck this is that's talking.
Cancel Mark. I was terribly offended.
Because after all, this is not our show. This is your show.